Hi, I'm Hunter Heltzel and welcome to Nerd Space. I don't know about you guys, but I'm actually very much excited for the new Moon Knight series coming to Disney Plus on March 30th. Now with that reasoning, this is why today I'm going to be covering Devil's Reign Moon Knight #1. With that being said, let's get right in. Our story starts in the Myrmidon, don't hate me if I got that wrong, which is the super prison for criminals. In this cell, we see 8-Ball talking to his cellie about how he's no joke and he's gone against some big bads such as Spider-Man, Moon Knight, She-Hulk, and Sleepwalker. He tells his cellmate that the reason he's in here is because he got tired of the streets and he's ready for a vacation. 8-Ball asks his cellmate what he's in for, and his cellmate says he's in for masks though. 8-Ball asks who he is, thinking they might have worked together at some point, and his cellmate reveals that he's Moon Knight, and this scares 8-Ball. The next day, 8-Ball is walking around the food hall asking all the different gangs and cliques if he can sit with them, getting rejected by all of them. Captain Confusion comes up and harasses 8-Ball until Moon Knight comes up and intervenes. Not recognizing him out of his usual attire, Confusion asks him who he is, and Moon Knight tells him he's the guy that put that moon on his forehead, and Confusion runs off scared. After that, Moon Knight sits down with 8-Ball and asks him where Man Mountain Marco is. 8-Ball says that the guards let him eat alone and they give him some real food. Now, the reason why this is happening is because, as it turns out, the guards are actually running an underground fight club where Marco is the king of it. After learning this, Moon Knight gets up to leave and on his way out beats Confusion. On the way back to his cell, Moon Knight gets stopped by a guard and is thrown into a shower where there's a gang waiting for him to get revenge. Unsurprisingly, Moon Knight comes out on top in this. Moon Knight walks out surprising the guard and brings up the fight club. He says he wants his mask and he wants a shot at the title. Once Moon Knight gets his mask, he wins his first fight against Boomslang. After the fight, Moon Knight talks to 8-Ball and says he's not afraid to get hurt and how you don't feel pain after you're dead, and that pain is the only thing that lets you know you're alive. Moon Knight goes on to win his third fight against Mr. Fish. Moon Knight continues to monologue a little more about how it's bad for him to be in this place. He then wins his fifth fight against Killer Shrike and Cactus. After that, he wins the sixth fight against Massacre. After these fights, he says that being in the prison reminds him of his old days, his wild dog days. Later on, Marco antagonizes Moon Knight from the cell and asks him if he's ready for the fight. Later that night, they meet in the cage and are having a pretty back and forth fight until Marco knocks out Moon Knight. While Mooney is knocked out, we see a flashback of Mr. Knight talking to Marco's ex-wife. She says that her daughter is growing up and is adopting her father's powers, and that Marco says he's going to get his hands on her when he gets out of prison. Mr. Knight assures her and says that they will be alright and that they're under his protection. Moon Knight comes to off the cage floor and attacks a boasting Marco with his back turned. Moon Knight tells Marco that he can get him wherever he is, and Marco says that once he gets out of prison he's going to get his hands on his wife and his little girl. Moon Knight says he gave him a choice and says he will never see them again as he gouges out Marco's eyes. Seeing this, the guards then run to the cage, and Moon Knight knocks out a couple of them, getting himself into solitary confinement. 8-Ball's outside of Moon Knight's new cell and is talking to him. Moon Knight brings up that this place couldn't hold Captain America or let alone Reed Richards. He's hoping that when the heroes break out, they come to get him, knowing that they'll need him for the fight against Kingpin. That concludes this issue. Now it's time for my ratings. For the art, I'll give it a 7 out of 10. Not that I think the art is bad, I'm just not a huge fan of this digital art. And that's not saying it's not real art, it's just not my style. I'll give the dialogue a 9 out of 10. It was used well throughout the story and helped develop the plot line. I also really enjoyed the monologue that Moon Knight went on about life and death, really showing his intellect. And the plot I'll give a 10 out of 10. It flowed very smoothly and had a good couple of twists and turns throughout the story. Overall, this leaves the comic with an 8.7 out of 10. I really did enjoy reading this, and I think you should check it out. I'm Hunter Heltzel, and this is Nerd Space. Nerd on and nerd out.